The movie starts with a police radio report stating that there has been a shooting at the DeSange residence. Victoria and Lily's father, Jeffrey, shoots his wife one wintry morning and takes his kids with him in an attempt to flee. Shortly after the automobile crashes and plummets off a cliff, Jeffrey speeds along the snowy road. Notwithstanding the wounds and the inclement weather, Jeffrey and his girls keep following a track that leads to an abandoned cabin in the woods. As his guilt about killing his wife and eluding the police begins to consume him, Jeffrey leaves his daughter inside and lights a fire for them. Pointing his rifle at her, he intends to put an end to their suffering. Then he removes her spectacles. However, the two little girls are left behind when the spirit known as Mama assaults and mutilates him. 5 years later, Jeffrey's brother Lucas DeSange employs two hunters to search for his nieces because he thinks they may still be alive. They come into the wreckage of the vehicle accident after making several attempts to locate the two little children. The hunters locate the missing young girls by using their dog's sense of smell. At the cabin in the woods, they eventually locate them. They are taken aback by the two little girls' feral-like behavior. Lucas receives a call from the hunters right away to let him know that his nieces are safe. 87 days later, they visit the institute where Lily and Victoria are temporarily staying. They meet Dr. Dreyfus there, who notes the girls' feral-like characteristics. He clarifies that after going missing for 5 years, the girls are adapting to life as ferals in order to live. Dr. Dreyfus asks Lucas if he may give Victoria the glasses because it looks like she has vision problems. Lily and Victoria run under the beds, terrified by his presence. However, as Victoria eventually gets the glasses and puts them on, Lucas begs her to do so, strengthening their bond as Victoria begins to resemble his Jeffrey. Following 87 days of studying the lost youngsters, Dr. Dreyfus is explaining later at the custody hearing. They are exhibiting symptoms of an imaginary mother figure they call Mama, who sings, feeds, and keeps them alive for 5 years in the woods. Regarding Lucas and Annabel as their guardians, the doctor emphasizes that Victoria and Lily may lead regular lives with appropriate physical and emotional growth. Ms. Podolsky, Victoria and Lily's aunt, is another prospective guardian who states that she wants to take custody of them because Lucas is struggling financially and might not be able to raise the kids. After the hearing, Dreyfus offers Lucas suitable housing and support, should he accept the offer. Victoria and Lily have a strong case, so the doctor is eager to see them. Lucas and Annabel agree since it will benefit the kids. The three decide on a course of action and head to see Ms. Podolsky. Since the girls are still related, she is permitted to see them once a week. Lucas and Annabel move into their new house the next day, while Victoria and Lily are still being watched by Dr. Dreyfus at the hospital. Victoria tells the tale while being recorded, outlining their bond with the figure known only as Mama and her past. She says her mother uses nightmares to show her. The story revolves around a woman fleeing from a hospital while carrying her child. As the police pursue her, she finds herself trapped facing a cliff with a river below. Since she thinks jumping will save them, she has no choice but to do so, but Mama dies and leaves her child at a branch. Victoria and Lily move into their new house a few days later, and the two siblings explore the house together to get acclimated to their new surroundings. Later on in the day, Dr. Dreyfus recalls the woman Victoria mentions and looks into her identity. When he asks the woman working in the archives for files containing the same account of Mama's story, she brings back some documents but says there haven't been any recent instances that closely match the story in the area. However, there is a book that holds the records of the St. Gertrude's Asylum, which has been closed since 1878. Edith Brennan is a patient there, and her situation is similar to the one Victoria tells the doctor about. Lucas and Annabel discuss how the girls need more time to get used to their new circumstances in the evening. In the bedroom, they spit on each other, but Annabel screams when she sees Mama's shadow at their door, observing them. Lucas looks out the window to see if the girls are hurt. There is no one in their chamber when a female growls at it. Lucas is using a hammer to examine the surroundings to make sure that no one has broken into their house. But Mama outsmarts him and causes Lucas to fall from the second story. Annabel is the sole person who appears to be watching over the children while Luca is in a temporary coma. Annabel has terrifying images and dreams of Mama. One day, Annabel phones Dreyfus to ask him to examine the children's drawings on the wall because she thinks they might have a deeper meaning. He notices a doll made of twigs and thinks he is familiar with them. Then, the physician listens to Victoria's earlier audio from his initial examination. When he returns home, he finds that the doll at the cabin is identical. It is Mama herself who made that doll. Once dinner is finished, later that night, Annabel puts the children to bed. She hears the sound of a dishonest woman playing with the children in their room while she tries to fall asleep. Though, when she looks around the room, she finds that just the children are there. Victoria tells her not to open the closet, but she says it's nothing. The next day, Annabel has a sneaking suspicion that a woman is paying them a secret visit. However, the doctor replies that Victoria is acting like the dishonest woman because she has a dissociative personality disorder from spending 5 years by herself with her sister. When the doctor later returns to the library archives to gather information about Edith Brennan, he is handed a tiny box containing the long-extinct remains of Edith's kid. Lucas is shocked when he first arrives to the hospital, but he quickly has a vision about Jeffrey alerting him to a possible threat the children may soon encounter. The outline of Jeffrey is pointing toward a bridge to the right. When the nurse and doctor arrive to aid him with his shock, the vision goes away and he is cured. The next day, Annabel finds Victoria in a room, attempting to pry open a fruit bottle. Victoria cautions Annabel once more that their growing intimacy irritates Mama, who was growing envious of Annabel. When the doorbell rings, Annabel answers it from Ms. Podolsky, who is standing at the front door. Ms. Podolsky states that she has a timetable for looking after the children, but she feels that Annabel is harming them since she sees bruises on the children. She only needs to snap a picture of the injuries before making a case against Annabel for physical abuse. She is prepared to report the latter. Later on in the evening, Dr. Dreyfus reappears bearing a lead regarding Mama's identity. When he gives Victoria the photo, she becomes enraged and yells. In response, the doctor yells back at her and demands to know if she recognizes the person in the photo. However, he swiftly goes since he doesn't want to witness the next creature that the enormous black sludge at the wall that releases moths that would reveal to him. The doctor visits the cabin in the woods the next day in order to learn more about Mama and assess the threat posed by that creature. Annabel is asleep later that evening. In her dream, Edith describes her visions of how she killed the previous nurses. The flashback depicts Edith fleeing from the law enforcement and the moment she leaps from the cliff, abandoning her infant on a tree branch while she drowns in the water. Lily hears Edith asking her to play through the window from the other room. Victoria is woken up by Lily, but Lily is obstinate since she loves her mother so much and wants to stay in the room. Once he returns to the cabin, the doctor looks about in an attempt to locate hints that would lead him to Edith, but moths are leaking out of the wall, dripping with nasty muck. His flashlight flickers and finally dies when he hears a female's crooked growls. As a light source, he pulls out a camera with an extremely powerful flash. But while he keeps pressing the button to take Edith's picture, she strikes him. Sadly, the inquisitive physician has now passed away as she snatches him, consumes his energy, and tears his face. After mourning the following day, Annabel visits Victoria and Lily in their room. However, she becomes frightened upon discovering Lily dozing out beneath the tree outside. It's freezing outdoors, so she dashes outside to grab Lily. Once she's outside, she hugs and holds Lily's hands to warm her up inside. After a while, Lily snaps at Annabel, but she realizes that Annabel is only trying to help her cool off. Victoria falls, but she is anxious because she knows Mama would be upset because Annabel takes good care of her adopted children and Mama is envious. That morning, Annabel fixes the window so the children can't use it to get outdoors because it will seriously damage them. She advises them, especially Lily, to take the stairs the next time. As she calls Annabel, Victoria prepares breakfast for the family. As she puts the things away in the children's room, she discovers Lily curled up under a blanket. But as she and Lily are waiting for her to complete, Victoria calls her again to go grab breakfast. Annabel looks confusedly in the cabinet to see what might be hidden beneath the blanket, but all she finds is a black sludge at the wall and no trace of the blanket. Victoria requests that Annabel go downstairs to eat breakfast and leave the cabinet alone. While dining, Victoria chats with Dr. Dreyfus about the mom thing, and Annabel questions her about it. However, Victoria is still reluctant to talk about her. Afterwards, in their living room, Annabel examines the doctor's leftover files. Victoria finds an old photo of a woman among the paperwork from the doctor's interview and Victoria's recordings. When she then contacts the doctor, nobody picks up. She chooses to go to the doctor's office because she's worried and wants to know who the woman in the picture is. She enters the office undetected and takes a box belonging to the professor that contains the data from the Victoria and Lily. They quickly depart and head back home. As Lucas contacts the car rental to go to Clifton Forge 9, where he sees Jeffrey and the bridge, to investigate, he decides at the hospital that he needs to dig into his earlier vision of Jeffrey and the road that he is pointing at. Back at Lucas's apartment later that evening, in an attempt to learn more about Mama and the doctor's knowledge, Annabel opens the doctor's file box. In an attempt to learn more, she opens the laptop, watches the movie, and goes through the files. She listens to a recording where Victoria tells Edith's story of losing a baby and how the child was previously discovered by the police. She opens another file, revealing that Edith's dead baby's remains are in the other, smaller box. Then she phones Lucas, who chooses not to take her call because he's also following up on a lead at the Clifton Forge 9. When Annabel learns of Edith's tragic pregnancy and death, she begins to cry. When Victoria sees her, she gives her a hug and tells her good night. However, when they are asleep, Ms. Podolsky breaks into their house to take pictures of the children's bruises in order to prove to the judge that Lucas is abusing the children. However, Lily and Victoria notice the black sludge in the closet is moving, so they wake up to see how Annabel is doing. When they see Mama, she becomes enraged and jealous of Annabel. To slow Annabel down, she gives her a backbite and chooses to murder Ms. Podolsky, the other intruder at home. Mama disguises herself as a hare in order to launch a covert attack and take control of Ms. Podolsky's body. In a few minutes, Annabel awakens, but before she does, Mama has already taken the kids away. In a hurry to stop Mama from taking the kids away from them, she drives quickly and carries the remains of Mama's baby to the cliff at Clifton Forge 9. Along the way, she encounters Lucas. When they get to the cabin, they discover that Ms. Podolsky has passed away. They also realize that the cliff is actually very close to the cabin when they exit it. When Annabel learns of Edith's tragic demise, she and Lucas attempt to bargain with her at the edge of the cliff. She displays her baby's lifeless body wrapped in a cloth, but just as Edith is about to leap from the cliff, Lily yells, "Mama!" After Edith throws the corpse and grabs the children, Annabel and Lucas fight back, but Edith is too powerful for them. Victoria approaches Edith and asks to live with her if she promises not to harm Annabel and Lucas. When Annabel reaches for Victoria's clothing, Edith continues to push back, and so does Annabel. In the film's epilogue, Annabel expresses her love for the children, but it is insufficient to break Lily and Edith's bond because Lily chooses to stay with Edith until the very end. At the water, Edith leaps with Lily. Victoria calls a familiar moth. That's Lily saying goodbye to us when the distraught Lucas, Annabel, and Victoria's family observes it after the incident. To ensure you never miss any updates on new videos, kindly click the bell icon and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.